Hello and welcome. I am Matt Roddy, and this is the Greater Prescott podcast, where we talk about, you guessed it, all things Greater Prescott. Today, I want to welcome my guest, Isabella Chewning from the Mountain Artists Guild here in Prescott.
Thank you.
Isabella, thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming into work a little early, right before your vacation.
Bright and early.
To kick it off, what is the Mountain Artists Guild?
Right. So the Mountain Artists Guild is a Prescott area nonprofit. So it was actually formed in 1949 by Mabel Lawrence and George Phippen, two names that a lot of people know about here, artists locally. Basically what they did was they had a couple friends who were artists in Prescott. In 1949, they got in a room and they said, what if we meet every week and make art together? And that's kind of how it started, is this idea of creating art with community, creating art with other visual artists together. So since then it's grown. We became a 501c3 nonprofit in 2004. We've had this building on Alarcon, right off of downtown Prescott, since 2002.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's kind of grown over the years and progressed, but really stayed true to, we are a group of visual artists looking to promote education and facilitation of the visual arts in the Greater Prescott area.
All right.
Yeah.
Silly question. What is a guild?
So a guild basically just means it's a group. So we're not just staff led, we're not just volunteer led. We actually have 236 members who buy into the guild annually.
That's really neat.
Yeah, so it's a group of people, and part of the reason why people join the guild is for the visual arts and the opportunities that it creates, but it's also the community.
It's great community.
Camaraderie.
Right. Yeah, I mean, whatever it is that you enjoy doing, it could be podcasting. It's fun to be around other people who podcast.
Who love it too.
Right.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I can see that is essential in a sense, especially for artists. I imagine that it can be somewhat of a lonely, at times lonely, kind of isolative.
Yeah, and you need feedback. You know, that's why we all go to. A lot of us go to art school or things like that. Those are great experiences. But you need feedback. You need peers to push you to be better. And that's another thing that a lot of our artists will say is they'll come in and they'll see the work of their peers and it'll give them a boost to say, hey, I want to do that. I want to try that. You know,
That's why
great.
People go to conferences oftentimes.
Exactly.
It's like, we just need a morale boost. Like we need a jolt of
And sometimes
adrenaline.
you just want to be part of something too, because the members, they do pay an annual membership fee. It's just $70, but $70 from almost 250 people goes a long way for our guild to be able to provide more art opportunities for the community. So those members, not only are they benefiting, but they're also donors to the guild. And
they're
that
investing
feels good.
in it.
And they're investing in our community, which is great. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to get into more of what the guild does for the community or with a community outlook on it. Greater Prescott is a really unique area, as you can probably attest to, being fresh off the boat and moving here, right?
Moving back.
Okay. And so I'm excited to get into that because we really do have a tight community.
Yeah, we do.
Which is different than a lot of other.
Yeah, we're lucky.
We are. We are very lucky. So to kick it off, where were you born and raised? What'd you do when you were a kid? This is all, we're just going to go through your story and connect the dots.
Sure.
So that when people understand that you are, in fact, the executive director, they're going to realize, oh, yeah, it's because this and this happened. And just, we're going to connect the dots.
How we got here.
That's it.
Sure. So I was born in LA County, but only lived there for a few months. And we bounced around just a little bit before we landed in Phoenix.
All right.
Lived in Phoenix up until 4th grade and then moved to Prescott. So I went to Taylor Hicks, Granite Mountain, Prescott High School.
Yeah.
Graduated from Prescott High School. And, my parents are both really creative people. So
In what way?
My dad is a chef and takes it very artistically,
yes.
and he's very creative in that sense. And my mom was an art teacher, so
okay.
yeah.
So interesting. So my dad was a metal fabricator by trade,
Cool.
but he was an artist. As I look back, he has since passed. But like, my dad was an artist.
Right.
He just used metal.
Exactly.
And people in here artists use a lot of different things.
Yeah. So I think what was instilled in myself and my brother was just curiosity and creativity.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing. And so even though my mom was an artist, it really was never my intention to pursue the arts.
Okay.
I thought I was going to be a surgeon or an architect or something,
Okay.
one of those type.
So you were high achieving if those are a couple things on your plate.
Yeah, probably too much though. But what happened was I ended up going to ASU my freshman year of college, studying architecture, and I missed art so much. I wanted to have the tactile experience of, I was learning about design and, in architecture. I was learning about design and materials and construction and things like that, but I wanted to be the one doing the work instead of drawing it out.
Right.
So I switched gears and went down to U of A and studied sculpture.
Okay.
Yeah. So
was that a shock to your folks at all?
No, really. I mean, I had been an artist since I was young.
Yeah.
I just didn't think that it was going to end up being my career path.
Yes.
I thought it was just a hobby or an interest. I probably should have known better. I was super involved in arts all growing up, visual arts, theater, music, everything. I actually, as a senior in high school, received a scholarship from the Mountain Artists Guild.
No kidding.
As a visual artist. But, I just probably honestly because it was what my mom did. Yep. It's just, I think kids tend to.
Yeah, we're 18.
Yeah. It's like, I'm not going to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it was absolutely what I loved.
So touch on some of the things that you did growing up. You said theater.
Yeah.
Just speak to some of those.
Yeah. So growing up, my mom actually helped run a theater company when we were down in Phoenix.
Okay.
So my brother and I did once, twice, 3 times, sometimes a year, plays and musicals and things like that.
Okay.
Loved that. But again, even in that, I was more interested in the costume design and the set design than I was the acting. I always loved the visual side of it. And then I just, always was drawing, always was working with clay, always was sculpting, things like that.
Did your mom sculpt at all?
She was a painter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where's the sculpting come from? Did you do it in a junior high or?
No, I think it's just that was just what I loved.
Yeah.
It just came natural to me. I also had a great aunt who I spent a ton of time with, and she taught me how to sew, and that also played a huge part. So really, I just had creativity kind of from all sides.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So I did a lot of
This is an interesting little side note. So my wife and I have 4 kids, and our desire is not to tell them what they're going to do, but provide them opportunities so that they can learn and decide, you know what, I don't necessarily care to be an actress, but I love the costume design or whatever it would be, but give them opportunities
100%
for them to learn and experience things.
Yeah, I don't think you can, like sculpting for me was just natural. Okay. I don't think you can really guide kids down a certain direction, but if you provide them with as many opportunities as possible, they're going to find something.
That's what I mean.
That they go, hey, that works for me,
right. Yep.
So for me, that was...
Good job for your folks.
Yeah. But I think I kind of naturally went right back to sculpting. I was always interested in interior design and architecture. I was always interested in sculpture and wood and metal fabrication.
Okay.
So it just seemed kind of like a perfect fit. And down at U of A, I ended up really falling in love with wood and bronze.
Okay.
So I primarily did most of my classes in wood and metal fabrication, welding, and bronze. Loved it. Never thought that's what I would get into. And, naturally I think there were 2 women in the metal studio in the whole program. And the other one, she was, older than I was. So it was an uncomfortable kind of position to go into, but I loved it so much. I just went ahead and did it.
Okay. Describe some of the wood that you were doing. It's hard for me to grasp.
Yeah, sure. So my main senior, what do they call it? My senior show.
Okay.
Like my capstone kind of show. I carved a full real life sized twin bed and comforter and pillow out of wood. Okay. So it was like modern contemporary sculpture, but out of traditional wood techniques.
Was it out of one chunk of wood?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. So that took a year.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I also...
Do you still have it?
I have the pillow. It was,
okay, so it had pieces.
The pillow was its own piece.
Okay.
The comforter was its own piece. Yeah. And then the bed.
Okay.
So I still have the pillow. The rest was too huge to maintain.
So what else did you... So you said some metal stuff as well?
Yeah, I learned to weld. I did a ton of different projects. Art school, obviously, is just really a learning opportunity where you figure out what works, what doesn't work. But learning to weld, honestly, was worth all 4 years of college, just coming out with that skill.
Yeah, how come?
It's something that people study as a trade, and to get that opportunity to learn that skill, that job skill, while also in an arts
environment.
Yeah, I felt very lucky for that coming out. And during it, I didn't realize how niche that skill set was that I was learning, but it really was.
All right.
So leaving university, I moved up to Seattle with my husband and my then boyfriend, because he got an opportunity to work for REI at their corporate headquarters.
Nice, okay.
So that was the complete reason for that move. Yeah. Loved it and hated it. Did a lot of hiking. It was beautiful.
How come you loved and hated it? Was it just such a different culture, obviously different weather? The
weather was fine. Okay. Surprisingly, that wasn't really the thing. To be honest, it was, community. Yeah. It was hard to access the type of community that we were used to having grown up here. Okay. And I lived in Phoenix for the first half of my childhood, but my husband was born and raised in Prescott.
No kidding.
Yeah, and hadn't left until college. And in college, even though we were in Tucson. In a huge metropolitan area, that community is so easy to find because it's your classmates. It's school.
The people doing what you're doing.
Yeah, and then shifting and going to somewhere like Seattle, not for lack of trying, but we just were struggling to find our people. And
totally,
there's something very isolating about it when you're 2.5 hours commute to work every day and you can't find community. Yeah. And it's dark all the time. It's just
one thing after another. Yeah.
So for us, even though we were trying to enjoy how beautiful it is up there and the food is great and lots of museums.
Culture's great. It's a great place.
It's a great place. Yes. great place to visit, I would say. It was definitely a lot more of a major city than I think we were anticipating.
Okay.
I think we went up kind of thinking Portland vibe, like maybe it would feel a little smaller, but it's not. It's a major city. So, and the last thing was just the cost of living. Growing up in Arizona, I think you kind of imagine being able to own a home.
Yes.
As a young person, it doesn't seem like an impossible
that is far
goal.
Out of reach.
Yeah. It seems like if, you have a double income household, you should probably be able to own a home.
Yep.
That's not the case in Seattle.
Not in the Northwest.
No. And for us, that just felt like kind of a bummer. We thought, we'd like to be able to own a home. So while we were up in Seattle, I was managing fashion retail stores.
Okay.
So just took a different... Yeah. It's what I was doing professionally all through college.
Gotcha.
I worked full-time through college.
Yep. So did I.
Yeah. So I was managing Ann Taylor stores in college. And then
my wife would love you.
Yeah. It's fun. And then I went up to Seattle and was managing a J. Crew store.
Okay. Yeah. So you had the experience. It was an easy landing.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of always intended to start working in a foundry or doing something like that up in Seattle. But again,
I've got to interrupt.
Yeah.
You mentioned bronze in college. I wanted you to talk just a second about that because I think bronze is fascinating. I've been really wanting to do a podcast with Bronzesmith out in Prescott Valley because I just think it's such a unique piece of art.
I actually came back around to working in bronze. So when we left Seattle, J. Crew closed 250 stores in a month, and my store was one of them. So we had this opportunity to kind of think, is this where we want to live? Yep. Where do we want to live? Where do we want to raise a family?
Yes.
All those kinds of questions.
Kind of like what COVID did to a lot of people. It just caused you to just question.
Yeah. And my husband decided to leave the job. He had spent 4 years, got an internship. We moved all the way to Seattle. We just weren't quite happy. So we sold everything we owned. We packed up 2 vehicles, and we didn't know where we were going.
Okay.
We traveled a little bit all over Montana and Idaho and Utah. And
beautiful.
We just tried to figure out what might work for us. And then we came back to Prescott. Okay. And it was not where we knew we were going to land, but when we came back here, it just kind of felt like home.
For the time being, anyways.
Probably for good.
Okay.
Yeah, honestly, we don't have family here anymore. It wasn't like we had this established. We have one aunt who still lives here, but it just felt like home. And
I have no family here.
Yeah.
And it just feels like home.
Yeah, so you get it. So we decided to stay here. And when we did that, I was so lucky to get the opportunity to work at Scourgia Bronze Casting, which no longer exists. They retired, but is a 35-year foundry. Incredibly talented people. The owner, John Scourgia, is a bronze artist. And I got to learn from him, learn from the other people on his team who were, truly like world-class, talented bronze artists. And I learned so much. It was just the absolute best. Yeah.
If you want to learn something, what a great way to do it.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome to be able to come back to Prescott and then work in my degree field. And do what I actually really love.
Get back in the saddle, so to speak. What's your husband's name?
Cody.
Cody, what was Cody doing at that time?
So when we moved back here, he decided to become a police officer.
Okay.
So that's kind of a long process.
Yes,
getting
it is.
there.
Mm-hmm.
So he began that process. Started working for the Prescott Valley Police Department as a civilian, and then testing to get on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I worked in bronze for just about 2 years before the foundry closed. And truly, if they hadn't retired and closed, I think I would do that for the rest of my life, because it was just, it's just the coolest thing to be able to be a part of. And again, to be a woman in that industry for me was really special. And it, you know, putting on the leather suit every day and going and pouring molten bronze, you know, I'm like 5'4" and female under 30, and it's just very empowering. And kind
did you feel that way when you were in college, when you were in the welding thing? You're one of two. Almost the only one your age. It's and
actually in the bronze foundry, I wasn't the only woman who had worked there, which in the metal department. So there's kind of two different sections to it. There's the wax and clay area, which actually tends to be almost all women. Because it's very detail oriented and precise. And then the bronze pouring and metal finishing and patina. There were more women than I would have anticipated in that side of things. So it's just a pretty cool feeling to be able to do something that has, I mean, they've been bronze casting with the lost wax process, that same process forever. They used to literally do this process, like pouring it into sand before they had any sort of casting material. So all of the great bronze sculptures in history were created in the exact same way that we're still doing.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. I mean, it's been upgraded and
of course
new materials have come out, but genuinely it's the same.
It's not much different.
Right. So there's something really cool about that. And like I said, to learn from people who are world class and have been doing it for so long was a really awesome learning experience, and loved working for them. They were ready to retire. They went ahead and closed their foundry, and at that point I started working. My husband was working for the town of Prescott Valley as a police officer, and there was an opportunity. They were hiring for an arts and culture coordinator for the town. And started working for the town of Prescott Valley in a government position, basically being the arts liaison for the entire town. So that's what I was doing up until this opportunity for Mountain Artists Guild came about. All
right. So bring us up to date. How did that work out, and when did you start?
So I just started with Mountain Artists Guild 7 weeks ago. Brand new, just totally getting my feet wet here. But basically, there's very few arts organizations in the greater Prescott area, and it's very rare for one of those arts organizations to be hiring for a position like this. So I really enjoyed my position with the town of Prescott Valley and all of the work that I got to do there, but things like this don't really come up very often. So I had to jump at the opportunity. And like I said, I was a Mountain Artists Guild scholar student.
Nice, cool.
So it's just kind of a total, full circle moment to be back in Prescott, having kind of established our own family here. And I'm very happy to be here. Totally new to it, totally getting my feet wet.
That's great.
And it's just fun to be part of this 70 plus year organization.
No
I'm
kidding.
just a small, page
Right.
in the book, but it's cool to be part of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll give you a sec to take a drink.
Sure.
Again, you'll speak to it more, but just the community aspect of what Greater Prescott has and what the Guild stands for is, I really, really, really want you to speak to that.
Yeah.
And just the passion behind that, because there's a reason that the Guild's been around for 70 years.
There is.
And so let's just start off. What is your position and what is the goal of your position?
Sure. So I'm the executive director for the Mountain Artists Guild. We only have 5 staff. It's a very small organization still, and I'm the only full-time staff here.
Okay.
So we are incredibly lucky to be basically run by volunteers. We have a volunteer board of directors,
Great.
and they're super involved with the gallery and the Guild as a whole.
Okay.
And then, like I mentioned, our members are also incredibly involved. So it's a community effort.
Absolutely.
It's a group effort.
Yeah, I mean, without them, this
doesn't
looks
exist.
drastically different.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. So
Yes.
My position here is to serve the Guild. We have this 7,000 square foot building that we're sitting in right now on Alarcon. I need to make sure that we can keep this building so that we can provide this gallery space to our members, as well as 2 huge classrooms in this building that we do workshops and classes in.
Oh, nice.
And then we have 9 private artist studios downstairs.
Oh, wow.
Where they have their own key access and they can paint or whatever they might do.
Okay.
So it's basically my job to make sure that all of this stays functioning for all of those members. And that primarily comes down to fundraising and maintaining staff for this building. So we do...
That's no small feat,
it's
Isabella.
Big, yeah. It's a lot. We do 2 large fundraisers in downtown Prescott every year. Most likely people are familiar with the events, but they're not familiar with what the funds go to. So the Mother's Day the Mother's Day Fine Art Festival every year, the White Tent Art Festival downtown on Mother's Day, that's Mountain Artists Guild's event. And that's a revenue event for us.
Great.
Basically helps us maintain our programs in this building. And then the second one we just finished is the August Fine Art and Wine Festival, also downtown. So, like I said, a lot of people from the community have probably, happened upon those events or come to them intentionally without actually knowing that they were benefiting a local arts organization. Yeah. So that's another thing that the board definitely brought me on to make sure that our community is a little bit more aware of what we're doing here and what we've been doing for 70 years.
That's the thesis of this podcast.
Yeah.
That's it.
There's so much going on.
And even just, exactly, there's so much going on.
Yeah. And, if you're not, I was aware of Mountain Artists Guild always because my mom was an art teacher and I was a Mountain Artists Guild scholar and those things. If you're not in that bubble,
that tiny little sub community,
you probably don't. You're probably not aware.
Yes.
But I think a lot of people who live in Prescott, even if they're not in the arts or they're not artists, they appreciate how the arts are so integrated into our community.
That's me.
Yeah. So, we have places like Charlotte Hall, like the Phippen Museum. We have all of our wonderful bronze sculptures downtown and all the galleries downtown. It takes an organization like Mountain Artists Guild to support local artists and emerging artists to be able to continue that type of culture in Prescott. And really the vision since 2002, when we filed for 501c3 status, the vision for this building and this guild is to be an arts center. that is kind of the board's mission for me, coming on new, is to really look at our position in Prescott and what really does Prescott need from us as a nonprofit. And it's my opinion and the opinion of the board that we have wonderful things like the FIPIN, like the Charlotte Hall Museum.
Yes.
We really don't have an arts center in Prescott. And we're becoming the size of community, similar to, say, Santa Fe.
Yeah.
That we need a location that's a resource for artists and also a resource for the community to engage with art and learn about art and learn about the history of our area. Yeah. So that's the goal.
Great.
That's where we're going.
Tie that into some of the things you are able to do here at the building. You know, we're sitting in, I guess, the main gallery maybe. Back here and here are, you explain it, and then downstairs and then your other space. Yeah. So, because I think that bring it all together, like there's this building has been designed and you're trying to work it out as an art center.
Exactly. Yeah. So this building was purchased by the Guild with this whole master plan and, an intention,
a vision
of an art center. And then, of course, the recession and, all these things happened. But now we're in an opportunity, a time of opportunity where we can see it through, hopefully. So like you mentioned, we're sitting right now in the main gallery. This main gallery is for our members to be able to show their work. It serves on a couple different levels. So you can see behind us, we have juried shows where artists actually win awards, ribbons, things like that. Professional artists will come in and juror the shows. That's a great learning opportunity for the winners and for the artists who participate but didn't win. So that's one piece of it. Another piece of it is learning professional hanging skills, like gallery quality hanging. A lot of our Guild members will start here, take all the skills they learn, and then they'll get an opportunity to show at TIS or Arts Prescott, Ian Russell's gallery, those downtown, more specifically downtown galleries. And we love that. We love that for our artists.
Absolutely.
There's no
competition.
No.
Yeah.
Many artists have started here and gone on to do much more with their careers, and that's the point.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
I love it.
Yeah, and then a lot of them, we hope that they still show here as
well.
But it's really it's a Kickstarter, and it's really a learning opportunity for artists. And we also have these 2 rooms. We call them our spotlight rooms, 1 and 2. Artists who are Guild members can reserve those rooms for 1 month out of the year.
All right.
So between the 2 of them, we have 24 solo shows per year. Some artists take those as group opportunities, and they'll split the cost there. And some take it as a solo opportunity, which not only is that great for marketing and for their resume to be able to then get a solo show at another gallery, but it also propels them to create a lot of work to be able to fill a room, which is an awesome opportunity. So those are a couple of the things that our gallery offers to artists. But beyond the gallery, this is what most people don't know about is the other 5,000 square feet of this building. We have a huge library space, and we have hundreds of art books and art magazines, which are actually cataloged and have been over the years.
Wow.
And our members can come and check those books out, or they can use them during classes and workshops for inspiration, things like that. So that's a wonderful resource for our members. And then we have 2 huge classrooms, one upstairs and one downstairs. Currently, those classrooms are used for classes and workshops for our members. We we'll have someone who's a specialist in painting horses, someone who does a specific kind of watercolor, that kind of a thing, will come in and teach a class or a workshop. Those are very popular, almost always sell out for our members. We just recently started offering it to non-members as well, just to kind of entice people to come in and learn about what we do here.
Yes.
But we also offer kids art camp every summer.
Okay.
And then soon, hopefully in January, we are planning on starting to offer after-school kids art programming.
I love the sound of it.
Yeah. So we're really going to kind of target the 10 to 14-year-old age range, because we found after speaking to arts teachers in the area that that's really the age range where it drops out in school a little bit. Funding, time, all of those things. The focus really shifts to science, math, and all of that in middle school. So we're looking to be able to provide an after-school opportunity, and we also provide scholarships to those students who can't afford to participate. So that's a huge factor of what we do here.
I love the sound of that.
I know, it's awesome, and we want to just keep doing more because we have the space.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of going to be a snowball.
That's how
effect.
It is. You got to start with one thing.
Exactly, and it'll grow from there. The other thing that we have offered for the last few years is a veterans art program. So that's a free program. We work with the VA to make sure we market it to local veterans, and they can come in and take the same classes and workshops that our members take from professional artists for free, and we provide them lunch. And it's also just an opportunity for them to get in a room together and have a day together. So really what we're trying to do is access every part of our community, not just artists and artisans, but veterans, children. I've also been approached a few times just in the last few weeks about engaging SMI populations, serious mental illness populations, with the arts. It's not something that is really provided currently, so that's something we're going to be looking into as well. So just really utilizing this building and this location. We're just off of downtown, very easy to get to. We have a lot of parking, and figuring out how can we become somewhere where people just know, oh, that's where I can go for to see a wonderful gallery show, to take a class, I can go ask questions because I know they at least do these kinds of things. We can be a resource is what we're hoping for.
That's always one of the hopes with my podcast. Actually, I almost always end with that. Like, if you have any questions about art, like, this is the type of place to go to, or for whoever else is sitting across from me. It's like they're the expert, right?
100%.
So if you have any questions, that's always my goal.
Well, and that's the other reason we're a guild, is because all of our 230 plus members can lean on each other for support and resources. And they all have different specialties and backgrounds, and some of them were long-term professionals in different types of careers who are also incredible artists. So we come together and really tap into those skills. And create a nice little, it's like a perfect reflection of Prescott and that community close-knit feel. Just we do the exact same thing here. It's just everyone here happens to love art. Especially.
I love the vision of just getting more people involved. Period. It doesn't matter if you're a professional. 'Cause most of us aren't. So what can you offer people like my kids, or even my wife and I, frankly, is really special.
Definitely. And we, something I definitely want to do is increase our programming for total novice, total beginner students.
That's where a majority of people are.
It is. And I think there's more people out there who think, you hear of all those paint and sip classes being so popular, or like couples date night painting class. People are interested in art if it's approachable.
well said.
They want to engage, but there is a barrier to entry. So we're just trying to bring that barrier to entry down. Say, come on in, no pretense, nothing like that.
Yeah, and
there's a place for
largely
you.
a psychological barrier. It's just
100%.
You just don't. Yeah.
It feels
it's not something that someone living their normal life would kind of think about.
Yeah.
Which is why I love doing this podcast, so that people can learn about what you guys do here.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
Yeah, cool.
Did we actually just give a quick rundown? I know you shared that these 2 rooms are on a monthly cycle. What about the rest of this gallery up here?
Right. So our main gallery has 6 shows per year. Okay. So we switch out every 2 months.
Okay.
Currently, we have a show called Wild Weather, which is up right now through the end of October. And then we'll be switching to our holiday show. Our holiday show is actually this year, we're going to do smalls. So 20 by 20 or smaller.
Okay. So
really giftable items.
I love it.
This is a wonderful place to holiday shop. And, if anyone wants handmade, unique items by local artists, we have 3D, 2D jewelry, cards. We have wood carvers who make practical items, like kitchen items, canes, things like that. So that's our holiday show. It's fun every year for our artists to be able to make a lot more sales and come out and, make giftable items. So that's in November and December. And then pretty soon here we'll be releasing our shows for next year, our 6 shows for the main gallery, because we want our artists to be able to paint or create art ahead of time for those shows. And that'll be on our website. We have a Facebook and Instagram that are established, and we're really wanting to utilize those a lot more to get out into the community what we do and what we have going on. So that's a good place to engage.
I have a passion for marketing. And social media is a fantastic place to build relationships, not necessarily to do sales. And so with this community in mind, I think you're doing it the right way.
And, all of our artists are local people. They're your neighbors. They're people you're sitting next to at breakfast. So if we can feature some of those local artists on our pages, that's awesome.
Do it.
No reason not to get it out there for them a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a great way to expose what you do here in a very non-salesy, just a very comfortable, friendly, real way.
100%.
Keep doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, before we transition on the gallery, is there anything else that you want to share about the gallery?
I don't think so. I would just really encourage people to stop by. We're open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 3.
Okay.
And like I said, we're on Alarcon and Sheldon, 228 North Alarcon. And actually, I found out it's Alarcon, like pine cone.
I've never pronounced it either of those ways. So,
but come stop by the gallery. And when you're here, we can also, tell you about classes, programs, kids camps, that kind of stuff that we have going on. But come out and see us. There's all those wonderful galleries right downtown, and I think a lot of people go to those ones again and again, which is awesome. But we're just right off the beaten path. Yes. And the Prescott Center for the Arts has their gallery. They're right next door, one street over from us. So there's a couple cool galleries up here in this north district.
Just
so
come
on over. Yeah, go on a walk. We have a parking lot. We're wheelchair accessible too.
There you go.
So come see us. Yeah, that would be what I would say.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's transition. What is it about the greater Prescott area that you love so much?
Everything. I mean,
so I asked this question to everyone, and I get the same answers, and so it's awesome because
I think Prescott, it has everything that you could want in a community, while still feeling small enough.
Yes.
I also think there's no better location than northern Arizona because we can get to Rocky Point. We can go to Vegas if that's your thing.
You can go to Colorado.
Yep. A couple hours from New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of perfectly central. And people are nice. People are nice here. People actually, engage with their neighbors.
I know.
And that's increasingly rare.
Yes.
Yeah, in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I love about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is Cody still working for the police department?
He's a reserve police officer at this moment. So he's still on staff there. He's also teaching at North Point Expeditionary Learning this semester. So,
Are you guys into outdoor stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Based on his REI background? Yeah. Okay. So what do you guys enjoy doing?
We're big hikers.
Okay.
Well, we're big into a lot of things, but this summer we've done a ton of kayaking.
Great.
Trying to go to every single lake.
Yep.
Once or 2-3 times a month.
Good.
Ideally. But yeah, we're big into hiking. We go to Gripstone.
Oh, nice.
And climb. We started playing pickleball.
Awesome.
This year.
I love it.
It's actually really fun.
That's what I've heard.
And it's so popular. I don't know why.
It's not just for old people.
It's definitely
I think that's the moral of the story.
It's a good workout.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're doing that. We're so lucky to live in Arizona where you can be outside all year
almost
round.
All year. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So and it's been such a nice wet season.
Yes.
It's beautiful out, so just enjoying all of that.
It is gorgeous out right now.
It's crazy. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, we live right by Willow Lake and Watson Lake.
Okay.
So it just is like booming right now. So.
It is so green. It's I almost do a double take at times. Like I don't remember seeing it like this. That's because it hasn't been like this for a few years.
A long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else about Greater Prescott?
Can't think of anything. It's been fun. Yeah.
It's great here. It's easy. I say it all the time. Everyone that sits across from me is obviously in love with this place as well. And so it's the same stuff over and over. Yeah. Because it's true.
We're lucky to live here.
We are very blessed to live here.
Yeah.
All right. I have some fun questions to ask you.
Okay.
I call this the rapid fire question section.
Oh, gosh.
You answer with the first, second, or third. You just answer with however many things come to mind.
Okay.
First question, what's your favorite thing about Greater Prescott?
The community.
What's your favorite restaurant in Greater Prescott?
Oh, that's hard.
You can name more than one?
Okay. Maya's Mexican restaurant for Mexican. I like cheese, Chinese.
Yeah.
Downtown. We're big foodies. Fujiyama.
Okay.
Yeah. Those are top 3.
Top 3. Okay. I know it's hard to decide.
Yeah.
What's the number one thing on your Greater Prescott bucket list?
Oh, let's see. Oh, I really want to do that 50-mile loop.
The circle trail?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
right up your alley if you like hiking.
That's on the bucket list, yeah.
You've probably already hiked
most of it.
Some of it.
But I want to do it all in one.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What's your all-time favorite piece of art?
Oh, I would say the bronze, The Dancer by Degas.
Okay.
It's a little bronze ballerina.
How little?
It's like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Cute. What are 3 words to describe living in Greater Prescott?
Peaceful, home, quiet. Yeah.
If you weren't the executive director of the Mountain Artists Guild, what type of work would you be doing?
Oh, that's easy. Tattooing.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait.
Honestly,
so
I
you
might,
gotta touch
do
on
that
that a little bit.
At some point. I would absolutely love to learn to tattoo.
Okay.
And I have many, can't see right now, but I I would love to learn to tattoo. It's definitely on my life bucket list to do at some point. Yeah. I'm not quite 30 yet, so I would say at some point in the next 10 years, I would probably make that shift. I would really like to learn to tattoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it about a tattoo?
So
if you don't have a tattoo, it's hard to understand. I also have a few, and so I get it.
Yeah, I mean, from the getting them perspective, they're a little addicting and just kind of fun. But from the art perspective and history, it's one of the most ancient art forms. So similar to bronze, I love the ancient art forms that still exist today. And it's also, there's a lot of female tattoo artists historically who have really like carved out a space for themselves and even found like safety and security and financial security through tattooing.
Absolutely.
Which I think is really cool.
Yes.
And women are still doing that in that industry and kind of carving that path. So that's kind of my interest in it. And I also just, I love illustration. I love design. And then I love sculpture. So it kind of marries the two. Yeah.
So this is why I love this table, because it's long form and everyone who listened to everything up until now understands why you would be interested in being a tattoo artist, right? It makes total sense. But if you were to just randomly say, oh, I'm the executive director and one day I want to be a tattoo artist. Like, what in the world?
But it makes sense.
It makes sense. I love it. Last question for you. What's your favorite summer activity in Greater Prescott?
This summer, kayaking. We've been doing a ton of kayaking, seeing the water level rise a little bit each time. But yeah, I would say that's been the best thing this summer.
Great.
Yeah.
One more question. What is one question you have for me?
Okay, you said you have 4 kids.
Yes.
What would you like to see a organization like the Mountain Artists Guild provide for a family like yours that you don't have any specific background in the arts?
Yeah.
But what would you like to see from us?
An opportunity for my kids to be creative in an environment that's encouraging, where they can learn, and where their interest in art, whether, I guess, kind of regardless of what kind it is, just be encouraged. We really stress creativity in our house because we think it's really important for their whole life to learn to be creative. Creatives do some of the most amazing work in our world. And it's hard. I think we live in a society in general that doesn't hold creativity very high. And so we're always going, how can we help our kids be more creative, and provide them opportunities to be creative? So it would be like an art class where they could come learn from, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a professional per se, but someone clearly above their level. Things like that.
It's interesting because a lot of people give that similar feedback that creativity in the arts aren't really highlighted or focused on.
They're not.
It's funny when you think about what matters in culture and what we all talk about all the time. It's what movies, music, travel, where are we going, all of those things that we engage with every single day. Netflix, like all those things are the result of someone who was able to foster their creativity as a young person or a young adult. All of them. So it's what makes up our culture, and the foundation of every interaction that we have with each other is the arts. But people forget that, in order to become Beyonce, someone needed to say, hey, you can sing.
Right. Here's an opportunity. You should try it.
So we have no clue how much untapped potential there is in all of the young people who weren't handed a microphone, and told that they could do that. So it's interesting because I get that feedback a lot. And, it's if only we could just tap into everyone's potential.
Right.
Imagine.
Oh, it'd be
where we could be.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Cool. So
Cool.
I hope that helps.
Thank you. Yeah. Awesome.
Before we will end in just a minute. Go ahead and look at the camera. Tell everyone why they should come in here. Give some of your the contact details. I'll also include that in the podcast.
Sounds good. So come on down to the Mountain Artists Guild gallery. We're at 228 North Alarcon, and our phone number is 928-445-2510. Our gallery is open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. We have 6 rotating shows per year and 12 rotating solo shows in our spotlight rooms per year. We also offer classes and workshops for artists and artisans of all levels or people just interested in the arts. We offer kids art programming, veterans art programming, and we're looking to grow. If you're interested in becoming a member, you can go onto our website and fill out an application, call us, or come on down to the gallery. We can facilitate that any of those ways. And we'd just love to meet more people from the area and engage with people as well. So come on down and see us at our gallery, or stop in when we have our festivals downtown. That's another great opportunity. Mother's Day weekend and the first weekend in August, we have festivals downtown that are arts and crafts, and a lot of fun, a lot of music, wine.
There you go.
Yeah.
You did great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Yeah,
I love learning, again, not just about the guild, but what's the passion and what's the vision behind it, because at the end of the day, that's what is really going to connect people.
Yeah.
So, guys, come in here, check it out. I love how it's rotating. So every few months, you're going to see new stuff, which is just fun.
It is fun. There's always something different in here.
Exactly. Yeah. Anything before we wrap up?
No, that's about it. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Let's look at the camera. You guys, thank you very much for joining me. I'll put in all the Mountain Artists Guild information. Please contact them. Please come in here and have a great day.